Keep smiling.
Looking good, Aria. We like the outfit. We like it all. Thank you for that report.
Right.
But we're going to switch gears now and head to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Marian Caldwell in for Brooke today. What is all that stuff on the radar?
Yeah, we are seeing periods of rain moving into the area, although across northwest Florida we are mostly dry right now, but some heavier rain is creeping into those areas of interior southwest Alabama. A little stray shower there just north of Wright in southern Okaloosa County. But as that front continues to shift eastward, we'll just continue to see that rain on and off throughout the rest of the morning, especially as we go into the afternoon. So if we look ahead into the next couple of hours, we should be dry for the most part, but around lunchtime we see another round of rain move in. Even some heavier rain at times possible. This evening looks to be on the drier side, pretty isolated in coverage, but that will be picking up once again as we go into the overnight hours and early into Friday morning, because that same front that we're looking at right now will sink south and then stall as a boundary, and an area of low pressure will form along that will keep those rain chances in the forecast all the way through Saturday morning. But outside of any rain that we do see, it will be cloudy out there, which will likely keep temperatures out of the 80s and in the middle and upper 70s for the most part. But coming up in that full report in just a few minutes, we'll take a look ahead at what we can expect for the next couple of days.
At 7:06, a quick look outdoors and see what we're dealing with here. This is I-10 near 9th Avenue this morning in Pensacola. Light traffic, no issues there. Have a nice drive.
6 minutes now after 7. Yesterday was the first court appearance for two Escambia County women who are accused of child neglect with great bodily harm.
Dinesha Blunt and Etania Williams arrested Monday. They had a total of 7 children under their care, 4 biological and 3 were foster children.
We want to bring you some details from the arrest report. It says Blunt took her 3-year-old foster son to West Florida Hospital for a reported rash on his lip. Now, deputies say the doctor noticed a soft spot on the child's head, bruises on his ear, injuries consistent with a skull fracture. He was also believed to be malnourished.
When the doctor went to inform his team about a potential child abuse case, Blunt apparently grabbed the child and left. They were found later on, along with a 1-year-old girl with bruising, they say, throughout her body.
The only good thing about it is that the children were removed from the situation and that these 2 ladies are going to be held accountable.
Foster children. The 2 foster children have more than 25 injuries combined. Deputies say the biological children later found unharmed.
Now, at this point, deputies say it is not clear exactly who harmed the children. They do say the women failed to get them medical care for their visible injuries. Both Blunt and Williams are charged with 2 counts of child neglect resulting in great bodily harm, and Sheriff Simmons says they will likely face more charges down the line.
Over 270 comments on our story online about this, many expressing disappointment in the foster care system as a whole. Amanda
says the system failed these kids. The social worker that is supposed to be doing weekly visits should be held accountable too, but won't be because the system fails kids all the time.
From Candy, she says, this is so awful. Those children are already going through enough. My heart hurts. The system is so broken.
And Marty says anyone that can harm innocent babies and children are the most sick kind of evil.
Here in the Morning Current, we do like to know what's going on in your world. You can share pictures and videos with us. You can text WEAR-TV to 95577, or easier still, just chime in from our website.
Coming up, a former FBI director turning himself in before his first court appearance. His attorneys say he's being vindictively prosecuted, but look at what that might mean.
And we do have graphic new details of the timeline of events surrounding the murder of a 14-year-old girl. We'll take a look at the new filing, what it reveals about the case against singer David.
Lots of news today, but for now we're going to take a pause. We're all together here. Let's have a coffee break.
Excellent idea. Join us.
Attorneys for former FBI Director James Comey say they plan to file motions accusing the Justice Department of vindictively prosecuting their client.
He surrendered yesterday, made a first court appearance in federal court in Virginia, charged with making a threat against the president and transmitting a threat in interstate commerce. Yesterday's hearing, under 10 minutes, Comey did not enter a plea.
The charges stem from this now very famous photo that Comey posted to social media last May to seashells arraigned to spell out 8647. Now, the Trump administration says 86 can refer to getting rid of something. They say it amounts to a death threat against the 47th president.
Second time, charges have been brought against Comey by the president's Department of Justice, accusing him of lying to Congress about press leaks last year. That case was dismissed by a federal judge. No arraignment date has been set for the new charges.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth facing a second day of questioning on Capitol Hill today.
Along with the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, going before the Senate Armed Services Committee. They're going to stress the need for a historic $1.5 trillion boost in defense spending.
They're also asking for more drones, more missiles, and more warships. Now, yesterday, Hegseth faced the House Armed Services Committee, taking questions about the cost of the war in Iran, the lives lost, and the reduction of weapons stockpiles.
We're going to do this. Disturbing new details about the death of a 14-year-old girl who prosecutors say died at the hands of singer David.
David's legal name is David Burke. He is charged with murder, continuous sexual abuse, and unlawfully mutilating a body. This is all in relation to the death of Celeste Hernandez. Her dismembered body, she was 14, was found in several bags in a Tesla belonging to David at a Hollywood impound lot.
Investigators say that David lured the teen to his Hollywood Hills home in 2025, where he killed her after she threatened to expose their relationship in an effort to destroy his career.
Prosecutors say they believe he stabbed her to death. 2 days later, they say he ordered 2 chainsaws, a body bag, some heavy-duty bags, and an inflatable pool from Amazon.
Investigators say he dismembered her in his garage, removing a finger as well that had a tattoo of his name. They say he put her in the bags, then put them in his Tesla, then parked it around the corner from his home before leaving for a concert tour.
David's entered a plea of not guilty. He's being held without bond right now. His next hearing is scheduled for May 26th.
A sheriff in New Orleans facing more than 24 felony counts after that brazen, if you will, jailbreak, remember?
Yeah, you'll remember. We'll show you too. Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson has now been indicted on 30 felony counts. She's accused of refusing to comply with basic legal requirements, taking only minimal precautions to prevent an escape. And the sheriff's office chief financial officer has also been indicted, 20 counts for that person, both of them expected in court today.
The charges all related to malfeasance in office, falsifying public records, and obstruction of justice. Remember, the 10 inmates escaped May 16th, 2025, climbed through a hole behind a toilet.
Nobody noticed for several hours, and a massive manhunt followed. It took 5 months to recapture all 10 inmates. More than a dozen other people were arrested for helping the escapees. And this all comes at the end of the sheriff's term. A new sheriff is actually being sworn in on Monday.
And how about this? Another incident in the sky, this time over San Diego.
A United Airlines flight reported a potential drone as the plane was making its approach yesterday morning.
Air traffic control alerted other pilots in the area, did not receive any additional reports of any drone sightings anymore. It would have been flying at about 3,000 feet, they say, well higher than the FAA's limit of 400 feet for recreational drones.
United says there were 48 passengers on that flight from San Francisco, 6 crew on board as well, and everybody was safe. They landed no problem. The airline found no evidence of a drone hitting the plane, and the FAA is investigating.
And then another incident of an unruly passenger. This one went viral on another aircraft. The man was upset about delays on the runway, wanted to get off the airplane.
Video posted on Reddit shows the man opening the door to a Delta flight Monday while it was taxiing in Atlanta. The plane returned to the gate and law enforcement removed the passenger.
You don't have to call me darling, darling. You know that one, right? Country music legend David Allan Coe has passed away.
You never even called me by my name. Coe's wife confirming his death to Rolling Stone overnight, and she calls him, quote, one of the best singers, songwriters, and performers of our time, never to be forgotten. Apparently
passed away at 5 o'clock yesterday. The cause of death not disclosed. Something of an outsider in the early days of the Nashville music establishment. He was a successful singer and in-demand songwriter for years. You Never Even Called Me by My Name, a classic, The Ride. And of course, he wrote Johnny Paycheck's big #1 hit, Take This Job and Shove It, I Ain't Working Here No More.
He was the first to record Tennessee Whiskey, which was later a monster hit for George Jones. And then Chris Stapleton, the outlaw movement that he was part of, along with Waylon and Willie and Chris Christopherson, really turned country music on its ear. He was really at the center of all that.
His first album, Penitentiary Blues, gives you an idea of what he was all about. He was 86 years old.
Our Thursday morning is starting out a little dreary. We've seen some showers come and go this morning. We are drying out for the most part right now, especially across northwest Florida. Little stray shower just east of Wright in southern Okaloosa County, and we see a big cluster of showers and storms moving into those interior southwest Alabama counties ahead of this cold front that'll continue pushing east as we go into the rest of our day, keeping those periods of rain in the forecast over the next several hours. But we do notice once that front does move south of the area, it stalls as a boundary, and an area of low pressure forms along that. That'll be riding along the coast going into tonight and early Friday morning, keeping that widespread rain in the forecast. And then we see that happen once again. Look back to the west, another area of low pressure forming off the coast of Texas and then moving across the coast, spreading another round of rain across the area Friday night and into early Saturday morning. So rain is really what we can expect for the next few days. This morning, definitely want to have your umbrella handy because you may get caught in a little pop-up shower here and there throughout the afternoon. Some of those could be a little heavy. We do dry out as we transition into the evening hours, it looks, but can't rule out a shower popping up in some spots nonetheless. Into the evening overnight hours, that does pick up once again, leaving us with some rain to start things out on your Friday morning, continuing into the afternoon and the overnight hours, and then really picking up shortly after midnight on Friday, continuing into early Saturday morning, seeing some pockets of heavier rain, maybe even some rumble, some thunder as you head to bed and start things off for the weekend. That looks to be our better chance for some heavy rain moving through, but that does look to be out of here pretty quickly. So if you have outdoor plans on Saturday, don't freak out because it does look like it'll be well on its way after about 8 o'clock. We do dry out. We're left with some clouds on the back side of that and maybe a stray shower. By the later part of the morning, things should be high and dry, making way for some afternoon sunshine. So it does look like the second half of the day will be much nicer than the morning. So at least that'll let you sleep in and kind of relax at home before you get the day good and started. And then going into Sunday, it looks to be a beautiful day as well. It does look like we can see some measurable rainfall by the time it's all said and done. So most spots should get at least an inch, if not more. Going into Saturday, we should see a little over 2 inches in most places. But this is a model, not a forecast. We'll have to see what we end up with. Our morning is starting out with overcast skies outside of any showers that are developing this morning. Temperatures are pretty mild in the 60s. Considering we'll be left with more clouds and sun today, temperatures likely staying limited to the 70s rather than the 80s, with those showers popping up here and there. Although it still will be warm and a little on the muggy side, we do see that break in humidity as we go into tomorrow and through the weekend behind that front once it does start to move out of here on its way. On the beaches today, we see a low risk of rip currents, pretty calm as you head offshore as well, but definitely not the best day to be out there all the way through the first part of Saturday. From there, we start to dry out through Saturday afternoon, leaving us with nicer weather Sunday and into the start of next week.
Keeping an eye on your Thursday morning traffic. I-10 in Pine Forest picking up as it generally does this time of day, but overall we're looking good on the road. 720. Live Golf may not be alive much longer. Coming up, the massive amounts of funding pulled and the golfers trying to figure out their next step. We'll have all of that for you. A planned weekend takeover of Pensacola Beach no longer on the calendar after the organizer met with law enforcement. A content creator made a post that went viral saying the crowd would be so big they'd need a SWAT team. Well, Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons says he met with the organizer of that event, and after that meeting, the organizer pulled the plug. Specifically, the sheriff says they told this organizer this would be considered an unsanctioned event, and he would be responsible for whatever happened. All right, we asked for your input on this one. Do you think the reaction to the beach takeover was warranted? We want to check in on the results, and thanks for everybody that took the time to share your thoughts. 89% said yes, the reaction was warranted. 11% came in with the no. Live Golf is all but dead. The Golf League expected to tell players today that Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is going to pull its money at the end of the season. Now, the Saudis have spent nearly $6 billion on Live Golf, pulling in some of golf's biggest names with 9-figure salaries. Experts say replacing the lost funding is going to be nearly impossible. Live lost a reported $1.1 billion between 22 and 24. It didn't help that a proposed merger with the PGA never happened. So now these players who left the PGA have to decide what they're going to do next. The PGA has indicated it will not be an easy path to come back. Brooks Koepka is the first to do it. The whole deal came with a hefty price tag. He's in a one-time returning member program. He's going to pay almost $90 million in charitable donations. He will forfeit bonuses and equity. The PGA is saying returns will happen on a case-by-case basis.
Chime In is sponsored by Pensacola Habitat for Humanity.
From Terry Cherry, this is Buster. He's a Chime In favorite, and look at that outfit. Terry says Buster is headed out to create smiles at Pensacola State College. Best job ever. And I know this one's, oh, it did. It made me jealous. From Mark Yamamoto, this is a hydrangea in the flower bed, looking fantastic. Stay with us on the Morning Current. Teacher pay, always a hot button topic, and even more so lately. Now Florida knows where it stands in the rankings. Spoiler alert, at the bottom. The warning from educators about exactly what that could mean is on the way. A Beulah man is in the Escambia County Jail accused of using artificial intelligence to generate child sex abuse material. Tyler Vanover was arrested by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement at his home on Fort Deposit Drive. He's now charged with 8 felony counts of possession of certain images of child pornography and 1 felony count of unlawful use of a two-way communication device. This investigation started in January. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement says there were 47 images traced back to an IP address at Vanover's home. They say he admitted to using X's AI assistant, Grok, and that he would ask Grok to generate images of children that were 16 to 20. He says the images came out much younger. The report says Vanover blamed AI for making a pornography addiction worse. His bond has been set at $150,000. All righty, meteorologist Marion Caldwell in for Brooke. Now, I was like, wait, am I in a time warp? Why was it dark out there?
No, it's the computer malfunction.
The computer has been fighting. You know,
yeah.
You get up early to come in with us, that the computer is arm wrestling with you.
There's nothing worse than walking in at 3-something in the morning and the computer's not working.
Stuff doesn't work.
Of course.
Yes, and you carried everything off beautifully. We've been watching this rain, but not getting a lot of it at this point, right?
Yeah, we are drying out for the most part right now. We are seeing some heavier rain moving in to northern southwest Alabama counties, but a stray shower just moved out of Okaloosa, so that's leaving northwest Florida dry for the most part right now. Just seeing some cloud cover, but that front back to the west will continue to push in as we go into the rest of the morning, leaving those periods of rain in the forecast for the rest of the day. The morning does look to feature mostly dry conditions, but you definitely could get caught in a little shower popping up here and there throughout the rest of the day. This afternoon around lunchtime, it does look to kind of pick back up, seeing some pockets of heavier rain possible where we see those darker colors as that moves along the coastline into the afternoon and evening. It does look to trend a little bit drier, but that picks up once again late tonight and into tomorrow morning, continuing into Saturday morning where we could see that best chance for some widespread beneficial rainfall. But for the day today, outside of any showers that we do see for the rest of the morning, we'll just be left with cloudy skies with more clouds and sun. Temperatures likely will stay in the 70s rather than the 80s. It will continue to be humid today, but humidity break is on the way once that front does move on out of here. But coming up in that full forecast here in just a few minutes, we'll talk about how much rain we can see.
Keeping an eye on your Thursday morning drive, looking across the Escambia Bay Bridge, we've got traffic picking up nicely, but moving right along. It is 7:31. Florida, once again ranking at the bottom of the national scale for teacher pay. According to the National Education Association, Florida teachers earn an average of $56,663 a year. That puts them 50th in the country for the 3rd year in a row. In terms of starting pay, the state is ranking better. Starting pay is actually ranked at 19th. Educators say overall the low pay could make it hard to keep teachers in the classroom. They may start their careers here and then leave. The president of Florida's Education Association, Andrew Spar, says low salaries are contributing to staffing shortages really across the state. And he says one of the biggest warning signs is veteran teachers leaving before retirement. Nearly 200 people shared their thoughts on our social media. A lot of people said it's disappointing. Others say there could be some valid reasons. Let's start with Bill. Quote, they live in one of the lowest tax states in the U.S., including no state income tax. Drive by any school and look in the teachers' parking lots. There are no junk cars there. Christy writes, it's the main reason I left teaching. There was no way to retire on my own. And Cynthia says, get the test scores and reading ability up, then ask. Disband unions, then ask. The debate over speed zone cameras heating up in Okaloosa County. We've been following this one for a few weeks now. They took center stage at the city council meeting in Fort Walton Beach Tuesday. Okaloosa County has banned all red light and speed cameras, and this was after a judge in Broward County found that they're unconstitutional. The ruling was based on the burden of proof. It says the cameras require the car owners to prove their innocence, while American law puts the burden of proof on prosecutors to prove someone guilty. So essentially, the county wants to follow that guidance. They want the city of Fort Walton Beach to remove 2 cameras that they say are on county land. Fort Walton Beach Police Chief Robert Bage wants the cameras to stay.
And you go back pre-programmed to current day, you can see that the number of speeding violations that were captured in pre-survey is now 95% less to today's numbers. So there's 95% less speeders going down.
Chief Page says the program would require him to replace the cameras with police officers, and that would cost taxpayers more money. The city also argues that the ticket consequences for the cameras are far less than a ticket issued by an officer. Smaller fines, no points on your license. Fort Walton Beach City Manager says that the cameras have been disabled while the city and county sort the whole thing out. The council is set to talk about it all again at their next meeting, which takes place May 19th. Dozens of comments about this one. Let's start with Melissa. Living in Destin, when my son went to Destin Elementary, I saw it all the time. Parents flying through school zones just trying to get their kids there faster. That's exactly why these cameras matter, she says. Kids' safety should always come first. I'm all for keeping them. Jesse writes, these cameras are good in theory, but they end up being money grabs, and everyday citizens end up getting tickets way outside of times when school is in session. 7:34, we have new details this morning on Keela Richardson's hometown concert and parade, if she makes it to the top 3 on American Idol. Or you're looking for more details on the possible homecoming plans, we've got you covered. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen. It will take you to this article on our website, weartv.com. Go Keela. There we go. If you don't always avoid the alligators here in the Panhandle, you may want to start now, at least for a few months. We'll tell you the do's and don'ts for a very important time of year. And descendants of a band of hippos that came to Colombia via a drug kingpin are now considered an invasive species. The man fighting to protect them by pushing to get them into a conservation center. We'll have it all. In the meantime, I hope somebody's going to join me in a coffee break. You know, you can see me, but I can't see you back. Cheers anyway. It is alligator mating season in Florida, so you may want to watch yourself around water. Officials say courtship happens in early April. Mating begins in May or June. The female alligators are building their nests and they will lay their eggs in late June or early July. So the gators, they say, are more active during this time, as it were, so to speak. And the FWC says that makes them more aggressive. They've recorded 30 fatal gator attacks going back to 1948. More than half happened during breeding or nesting season. There are alligators in all of Florida's 67 counties, so if you've ever got a concern, you can call the FWC Nuisance Alligator Hotline. And remember these basic facts. Never feed a gator. Keep your distance if you see one. Swim only in designated areas during daylight. Keep your pets on a leash and far away from the water. Never feed the alligators, and if you see a baby, assume mom is close by and that she's probably not in a very good mood. The son of an Indian billionaire is now offering a new home to a horde of hippos in Colombia. They were introduced to the region by drug kingpin Pablo Escobar. So these hippos are the descendants of the animals originally brought to Colombia by Pablo in the 1980s for his private zoo. But after he died, the animals got into Colombia's Magdalena River, where they have attacked fishermen and been declared animals non grata by the government. The Colombian government ordering 80 of these animals to be culled, calling them an invasive species. Well, this billionaire's son, Anant Ambani, he asked the government to hold on that decision. He wants the hippos moved to his Vantara Animal Center, which calls itself one of the largest wildlife conservation centers in the world. But some experts have raised alarms about this particular zoo. They say it's taken in too many animals, that it's literally home to thousands of animals, and that they have imported critically endangered species. Oh, by the way, the cost of moving these hippos would be estimated at $3.5 million. More to come. A stranded humpback whale is on his way to safety now, if he'll let it happen. Timmy the whale first was spotted near Germany's Baltic Sea coast on March 3rd. He was repeatedly stranding himself in shallow water and his health was starting to worsen. So helpers tried to coax him back into deeper water. You may have seen it. The efforts were live streamed and watched around the globe, but Timmy was having really none of it. So Tuesday, they spent hours pulling him to a flooded barge. They were trying to use straps and a dredging channel. The barge would be headed to the North Sea, and yesterday they reached Danish waters. But experts say the stress on the whale through all of this could be too much. He may not make it. One organizer says right now Timmy appears to be resting peacefully and that he vocalized yesterday, so they are hoping he is doing well. And so are we. You can see these stories and more on WEAR's YouTube channel. Top local and national YouTube shorts for a quick bite of content. And every morning we bring it to you, the Morning Minute. There's nothing better. Search WEAR News on YouTube. There are new developments in the fight for funding on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers making some headway on funding for Immigration and Customs Enforcement and DHS. We'll tell you exactly what has transpired. The House moving forward with a budget plan that would fund federal immigration agencies. The House adopted the Senate-approved plan yesterday. This resolution directs committees overseeing ICE and Border Patrol to draft legislation that would give these agencies about $70 billion. Both chambers of Congress would then have to approve it. Republicans say they plan to fund the rest of the Department of Homeland Security through a separate measure. Democrats have refused to fund ICE and Border Patrol without reforms to immigration enforcement. A memo sent out Tuesday says DHS will not be able to pay their people beginning in May. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says he's not going far when his term ends next month. Jay Powell announced he's staying on at the central bank as a member of the Board of Governors. He says he won't leave until the investigation into the Fed's office renovations continues, or until it's wrapped up, really. The DOJ recently dropped the criminal probe into Powell that was tied to cost overruns, and they called on the Fed's Inspector General to carry out the investigation. Powell says this is all politically motivated. His announcement came yesterday as he presided over his last Fed meeting as chair. Meanwhile, the central bank did announce they are holding interest rates steady. That was expected in light of the rising prices fueled by the Iran war. Drivers in Escambia County could see some changes coming to a couple of the area's biggest roads, highways 29 and 97. This would be a long-term thing, but the Emerald Coast Regional Council is considering expanding 97 from 2 lanes to 4 and expanding 29 from 4 lanes to 6. The Florida Highway Patrol says they see crashes on both of those highways almost every shift. The council's Rural Transportation Committee is heading up a survey on these proposals while they await funding decisions from the Florida Department of Transportation. So this all closes out tomorrow. We got a link at weartv.com. The committee is going to consider the projects at their meeting on May 20th. We would love to know what you think, though. This is what I was working up to, but I was getting a little out of breath. Do you think one or both or neither of those highways should be expanded? And here's what we got. 12% said only Highway 29, 6% said only Highway 97, 45% said both, that was the majority, and 37% said neither.
Our Thursday morning is starting out a little on the gloomy side, but for the most part we are dry across northwest Florida right now. Just seeing some cloud cover, but some heavier rain is moving into interior southwest Alabama right now. Ahead of this cold front that'll continue pushing east as we go into the rest of our day. And once that does finally sink south of the area, it will stall out and form as a boundary, allowing an area of low pressure to form along it and then right along the coast, keeping those rain chances in the forecast late tonight as well as into the day tomorrow. Look back towards Texas, we see another low forming off that same front, spreading another round of widespread rain all across the southeast and the Gulf Coast region late Friday night and Saturday morning. So for the rest of our day today, expect those showers really to be popping up at any time, becoming even heavy this afternoon before drying out as we go into the late afternoon and early evening, picking up once again overnight tonight and into your Friday morning. So definitely want the rain jacket, umbrella heading out the door once again tomorrow, seeing some periods of heavier rain throughout Friday morning and becoming a little widespread as well. And then in the afternoon that becomes more scattered, picking up again Friday night into early Saturday morning. Early Saturday morning looks to be our best chance for heavy widespread rain, maybe even some rumbles of thunder to start things off for the weekend. But don't freak out if you have any outdoor plans. That does look to be well on its way by 8 o'clock, leaving us with drier weather on the other side. Maybe a few stray showers late in the morning, but overall we'll see some clouds making way for some sunshine Saturday afternoon. And Sunday looks to be a beautiful dry day as well. So the good news is that the better part of our weekend will feature sunny and dry weather. But that rain is much needed that we'll receive over the next couple of days. We could see up to about 2 inches in some spots, maybe a little bit more. This is a model, not a forecast. We'll have to see what we end up with. These totals are actually a little bit lower than they were just in that latest run. But nonetheless, any rain that we can get at this point, it will help with those drought conditions that continue to worsen across the area. We're seeing some clouds to start out the day, but a little bit of glow of sunshine coming through those cloud breaks. Temperatures are in the 60s across most of the area. We will be left with more clouds and sun going into the rest of the day, keeping those temperatures limited to the 70s for the most part. Some places may climb into the low 80s, but 70s are really just about what we can expect. It will continue to be muggy today before we do see a humidity break behind that system Friday and into the weekend, and then that spikes rather quickly into the start of next week. Calm on the beaches today as well as offshore, but maybe not the best day to be out on the water or the beach until we go into Saturday afternoon and that dry weather returns to the forecast.
Stay with us. Some surprising trends in baby name popularity. We'll run down the names headed down the list and which ones are on the rise. And we'll compare between then and now what the sound is and the vibe. It's fun. Some surprising trends are popping up right now involving baby names. So I want to bring in our executive producer, AJ, since she has had to distribute 3 baby names in recent years. This was from HuffPost. They broke down some new data from the Social Security list of most popular names.
Yeah, it's not, the list isn't particularly new, but they took a fun kind of approach to it to find out like what are some interesting trends that we're seeing. And a big thing that they picked up on is really classic names kind of falling down on the list and not less traditional names coming up. We have some examples, one being one of the more popular names for girls right now is Nova is now more popular than the name Grace, which is surprising. I mean, Nova is not a totally unheard of name, but you certainly would think that Grace is always in that top group. Another one, fast rising girl names is Iceland. They said that's a trend where you see a lot of names ending with L-Y-N-N, which is interesting. My middle name is Lynn, and I guess people are just like combining them now.
Yeah, right. They're trying to go on, but I think Iceland is cool. Like I've never heard that one. I didn't know if it was maybe even from books or movies. But AJ, what I love about these is I feel like it tells us something about our culture. When we look at the names people are favoring and not like a boy name. We're back to boy names now.
Yeah, boy names, Maverick has overtaken Thomas. Let's see, Messiah is more popular than Patrick. Lorenzo, more popular than Nicholas. So it's kind of that similar trend you see. Another one that I thought was interesting, honorable mentions for girls' names, Lainey. We can probably guess why that's popular.
Right.
Lainey Wilson being a really popular person. And Honey is a name that's coming up on the girls' list. I think that's really sweet.
That's kind of a 70s name. Honey was really big in the 70s. And the other one I really loved was the name Truce for a boy. And of course, you know, with my peace-loving heart, I love to think that that reflects a greater desire, but maybe it just sounds like a cool Western name. I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool either way.
I guess I talked too long about baby names. Forecast okay?
Yeah, I mean, looking like it's going to be a little wet for the next few days, but we do need the rain. No severe weather, so at least, you know, if
We'll
you
make
don't
the
have
most
to
of
get
it.
out in it, at least it makes it cozy to come sit at home and not do anything.
All right, join us tomorrow. Jared is back as well. He has some errands to run, but it'll be Friday, and we are so glad you hung out with us today on the Morning Current. Have a great day.